Hey, what is up guys, Murgaman4 here. And hot on the heels of the season premiere, we have The Devil's Chord, doing something very different from Space Babies. I have to admit, I was dubious about the double episode premiere when it was first announced, but having now seen Space Babies, I think they made the right call. Honestly, right off the bat, I knew this episode was going to be more my speed. That first shot of the piano, the introduction to Maestro, heck, even just the fact that it's a historical. I love a good historical. And Maestro! Oh, what an incredible first impression. What an incredible villain, full stop. I've said before how I love all-powerful villains that don't follow the normal rules, so Maestro is exactly my kind of thing. And I love the way that the story plays with music as a deadly weapon. So much fun. It also helps that Jinx Monsoon gives an outstanding performance, hitting all the right notes and giving it just the right amount of over the top. She's got a wonderfully expressive face and brings a perfect blend of fun and menace to the role, completely stealing the show every time she was on screen. And you know what else I love? The fourth wall breaks. There's actually quite a few of them here, and while I do think there's a danger in overplaying them, this story gives us some all-timers. Maestro playing us into the opening titles is brilliant, as is the Doctor's...
I thought that was not diegetic.
I absolutely love the implication that the Doctor can hear the show's score alongside the audience. Ironically though, despite looking forward to this being a historical, that's probably the least interesting aspect. Although I don't mean that as a criticism, because as far as historicals go, this is hardly a traditional one, instead being set almost entirely within an alternate timeline. Even then, we still get to see the Doctor and Ruby all excited to be going into history, having fun dressing up and visiting the sites. It's such a joy to watch, and honestly makes the punchline that history's gone wrong all the better. Their reaction to this timeline's horrid Beatles music is hilarious, and it's a brilliant twist on the traditional historical, while making for superb commentary on how important the arts are for the human experience. There's a stunningly beautiful scene as the Doctor and Ruby are investigating the disappearance of music from the world, with Ruby playing a haunting melody on the piano. And we just spend a couple of minutes basking in the power of music. No action, no dialogue, just music compelling the human soul. Honestly, this whole episode is filled with brilliant sequences like this. The scene where Maestro hunts down the Doctor and Ruby, where he uses the sonic to create a veil of silence, is a similarly enthralling piece. I don't have a clue how the sonic can do that, but, you know, rule of cool and all that. There's also the segment where Maestro confronts the Doctor and Ruby in the ruined present day. Not only is it visually unique, but Maestro taking control of the TARDIS by playing the piano, the lights all flashing like wild, is exhilarating and terrifying in equal measure, and is a great showcase for the unique lighting that this TARDIS interior offers. And while I don't really have much to say on it, it's brilliant to see the iconic scene from Pyramids of Mars recreated for the modern day, with the Doctor showing his companion in no uncertain terms that the past is just as vulnerable as the present. Finally, I love the music battle to save the day. It's such a fun, unique climax to a Doctor Who story, with the usage of instruments and music notes creating some great visuals, and as with the Toymaker, I'm a big fan of the key to Maestro's defeat being something so simple, but not without challenge. You just have to find the right combination of notes, and it gives the Beatles a nice triumphant moment for Lennon and McCartney to be the ones to finish the job. But like last episode, we've also got some arc stuff going on. And also like last week, it's not quite as subtle as I'd like. Actually, there's a number of things going on here. Firstly, that mention of Susan, and reiterating the destruction of the Time Lords. That's 2 episodes in a row now, and it really feels to me that RTD is signposting the fact that the Doctor is not, in fact, the only one left like he believes. Perhaps even Susan herself survives. It stood out as quite odd to me to specifically call out her fate and how the Doctor doesn't know it, so I guess we'll see where that goes, and perhaps it's not a coincidence that there will be a character in the finale called Susan Triad. Either way, we also have an interesting addition to Ruby's arc, as Maestro uncovers a hidden song within her, and what really raised my eyebrows, a mention of the oldest one apparently being present. Whatever that means, I have no idea, but I like the idea that there's more all-powerful beings on the way. I'm less keen on the one who waits tease.
The one who waits is almost here!
I mean, come on, this is as subtle as a nuclear bomb. It doesn't give us any new information, or give us a fresh perspective on old information. It's just RTD shoving a sign in front of the viewers' faces that says, "Look at me, I'm a series arc!" And I can't stand that, personally. But before we close out, there's always a twist at the end. I actually love the idea of having a song and dance to finish off the episode, but I can't help being disappointed that, given the premise, it's not a Beatles song. I know that the rights are absurdly expensive, but it is a tad underwhelming, and the song we get instead Well, it's not awful, but it's not great either. The final shot of the Doctor and Ruby dancing on the road crossing, umbrellas in hand, is pure magic, though. Oh, and speaking of twists, looks like Harbinger from the episode's cold open is still around. I wonder if that's just a bit of fun or a genuine tease for the future. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. And those are my thoughts on the Devil's Chord. A much-needed palate cleanser after the last couple episodes didn't do very much for me. It's a very easy 8 out of 10. But next week, we have the return of former showrunner Stephen Moffat with Boom. I'm looking forward to seeing how it stacks up against his previous guest-written stories, because he set quite a standard to live up to. But with that, please let me know what you thought of The Devil's Chord down in the comments below, and I'll see you next week with my review of Boom.